thank our friends at the Code School of Guam. Learn, code, and lead at the island's first coding boot camp. Your future in tech begins with us at Code School of Guam. We also want to thank our friends at Subway. You got to refresh to be fresh. Visit them online at subwaypacific.com. Place your order and then pick it up at your convenience. But maybe picking up is not convenient for you. Well, they got the convenience of delivery. It's powered by Good to Go. We deliver. You have that option for you as well. We also want to thank our friends over there at Sentinel Security. Yes, indeed. Now, don't forget, Guahan, our friends from Sentinel Security are taking care of you, especially when it comes to security of commercial, industrial, or residential sectors. They're delivering operational excellence in protective services. That's our friends at Sentinel Security Solutions. And of course, we want to give a big thanks to our friends at Sherwin-Williams Paint. The rain is coming fast, and it did rain a little bit earlier. Are you ready? Seal your roof with Sherwin-Williams silicone roofing. It's engineered for Guam's toughest weather, from blazing sun to pounding rain. Protect what matters today and ask Sherwin-Williams. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are officially ready to go ahead and get the Brightside started.
I ran into this girl the night before. She reminded me of a golden shore. She was nothing like your average girl next door. She liked DVDs, tattoos, and Paramore. She'd say half a mile ago, por favor. And I'd say sad dispenser to Gaigi color. She'd paint colors round the galaxies and more. I ran into this girl the night before.
All right, welcome back to Brightside here on Wave 105. My name is Paulie Suba. Thank you again to Dave Duenas for filling in those last 2 hours. And so we're online, the wave105.com, as well as our YouTube channel, Wave 105.1 FM Guam. If you're tuned into our YouTube, then you'll see our guests in studio, our friends, Flag Bro. Right? Kylan Eckert, thank you so much. And the Guam guy, who introduced me to the Flag Bro. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so last Friday at 11 a.m., they broadcast your episode of the Guam Guy podcast that you can find on YouTube and Spotify. But we broadcast your show now every Friday at 11. And one of my favorite episodes was with Kylan. And it was about what we're going to discuss today. And Kylan, you came in before, and we were talking about village flags. And the reason why I wanted to do that, because I really feel like if you get in front of the Mayor's Council of Guam, I think you can help them redesign a lot of their village flags. Because when I was looking at the modern flag design book that you gave me, and then just hearing and seeing the principles of flag design, I don't think any of them meet all of the basics. Yeah. And so does the Guam flag, and that's what we're going to be talking about, does it meet these 5 principles? Keeping it simple, use meaningful symbolism, use few basic colors, no lettering or seals, be distinctive or be related. I see letters. I see Guam on here. Yeah. Right? And so I don't know, wherever you guys want to take this conversation, we can do that. But before we do that, I want to congratulate you and the Harvest Christian Academy.
Oh, yeah. Harvest Christian
on your Spirit Week.
Yeah, it was a great week. Honestly, a great week. And yeah, thanks for the shout out that you gave us for Spirit Week.
Yeah.
My team, thanks to everyone who voted for SETI Bay on our Instagram poll. We had like 3,000 votes.
That's cool.
Which was the most we've ever had. And that was like really cool for the kids to see that, they can really get a lot of momentum behind them.
For the whole competition or that one entry?
For that one
Whoa.
one poll,
Yes.
3,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, we did say go ahead and use all of your burner accounts to vote, and I think people did. But I mean, I was personally up till like 2 a.m. messaging friends in the States because they were waking up.
Sure.
And they were, they're awake and they're like, yeah, sure. Hey, I'll do this. I was calling in all the friends and everything, and that was really cool. The kids were doing the same thing. We had kids from GW voting for us. We had kids from FD and Academy voting for like different teams, and it was awesome.
So-
Whose idea was it to pick bays? Because it was Tumon Bay versus Seti Bay versus Pagu Bay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whose
Yeah,
idea was it to do that?
So that Harvest has been going towards, for our Spirit Week names, we switch every year. And they started to lean more towards kind of more local symbols, more local
Sure.
kind of objects and stuff like that to represent your teams. Like one time we had 2 teams and it was Gadao versus Kapua.
Okay.
Right, and that was like, hey, that's cool. Right, you got kind of that feel, and that was really pushed from Josh Taylor, our principal. He really wanted to make sure he had been on Guam for a long time,
Right.
and he knew, hey, you know what, we can be a little more locally infused.
Place based.
Yeah, and that did get some people that were like, hey, I live near Pagu Bay. I want to be on this, or I live near.
Oh, so that's how you do it?
No
They
one lives
chose?
in Seti
No,
Bay.
no one lives in Seti Bay, so we definitely had to make some choices on that.
Yeah.
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 But it was kind of split between the homerooms, and then
Okay.
the choice of who or what bays were used this year. He asked like the lead teachers on certain subjects. Right?
Yeah.
Hey, what are some bays that we can use? And they were
Sure.
throwing out, like, I was like, Talafofo Bay, but then that's like such a long thing. Let's go Talafofo. Hey, like it just
Sure.
it doesn't fit very easily into the cheers.
I saw the photos on Instagram. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It looked like that was a very
It was
festive Spirit Week.
It
Like
always
everybody was excited.
It always is, and it's one of those things where the competition is intense. It's so intense. The cheers get really elaborate. We
Yeah.
have like productions at the end almost. We had a kid
Really?
dress up. They're kind of short productions, but it's
Okay.
all led by the students. And this,
Geared towards the theme?
geared
Okay.
towards the theme. Geared towards like what your theme is. So Seti Bay.
Sure.
Seti Bay, our group was kind of geared towards explorers.
Yeah.
And, like
I
our-
noticed from the banner.
Yeah, our kind of object was a shovel.
Yes.
Right? Like, you know, archaeology kind
Sure.
of thing. And one of our seniors dressed up, a guy dressed up as Dora the Explorer. And it was great. You know, it's just a ridiculous situation. And everyone loved it, right? And they just go all out. And, you know, it's good for those freshmen, those 7th graders and 8th graders to see, hey, these super serious 11th grade, 12th grade, right? They can have fun too. These teachers, we had our head of school do like a little rap almost, and people went nuts. And that was great, right? They
Right.
can see the teachers in a different light. Helps us form relationships
Yeah.
a little better. Yeah.
So, I mean, I thought because you're like, you're officially now been donned the flag,
The flag, bro.
Yeah.
That's it.
And so I was
Sorry.
thinking, you know,
No, I'll take
all,
it. I'll take
I
it.
was drawing
Guam guy,
connections,
flag, bro.
right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, banner competition. This must be Kylan's
Yeah.
whole idea and vision.
Yeah, you can always tell which group is mine because my group always has a like a homemade flag. That was me.
Okay.
I bought something from Shop for Less, and
Yeah.
like it was just a tablecloth that was orange, and just
Right.
made a flag out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Spirit Week thing has been going around since I was in middle school
Wow.
at Harvest, and it has been around for a long, long time. It's been really. We've had different iterations. We've shortened the week so that kids aren't getting like just demolished by the fifth day. So instead, it's just 3 days.
Sure.
It's like a sprint. That's just absolutely great.
Wow.
You know, best advice in show business: leave them wanting more.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they always, we wish it were longer. Right?
Sure.
That's what you want them to have.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so just seeing the progress through the Instagram posts and how active you were on it, it shows how passionate you are what you do, whether it's teaching or designing flags,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so this conversation, again, you can just watch the two of you kind of have this discussion about designing flags, and it's available again on
Yeah.
YouTube and Spotify under the Guam Guy podcast. And so I don't know in what direction you want to, do we want to start from scratch with this audience? But I kind of want to get people to go to your podcast and kind of have a more evolved, or what have we learned now since that podcast? Has anybody said anything differently to the both of you since?
Yeah, I sent a couple mayors some of the potential redesigns, and one of them's didn't quite give a assent or dissent to it.
Sure.
So which is the same as dissent, right?
Sure. No
But,
response is a response.
Yeah, so I'm kind of, what do you call it? Trying to, I guess, get the word out about like who cares, right? It's our flag. Who cares what the principles are? It's whatever we want it to be,
Sure.
right? And so maybe try to unravel that and why maybe that's not the best way to think about it, because it's an existing format, right? Like a flag is something that should be somewhat universal or global in nature. And so if you just show up with your own thing, right? It's like you don't show up to your wedding and everybody's in their suits or tux or whatever, and you show up like in what do you call that, jeans with holes in it and everything, and you have a dirty shirt on. And so it's our representation to the world and to each other. And so there's a mold that we kind of want to fit. Maybe we can stretch the boundaries of a little bit, but if we're not operating close to what a flag is supposed to be, it's not a good look.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you've actually had conversations with the lieutenant governor on this issue years ago.
Yeah.
Right. With specifically the Guam flag. And so I don't know, again, if you want to share whatever you're allowed to share publicly, but I've been kind of tracking it and I haven't seen much progress. I don't know, do you hear any more from any officials about redesigning or making some changes?
Yeah, I haven't really gotten traction. I did have that conversation with the lieutenant governor, so shout out for even entertaining me. Thank you. That was cool.
Yeah.
Didn't quite go anywhere. He said it's ultimately would have to come through, even though he is the official keeper of the coat of arms, or what was it? That's right. The seal rather.
Yeah.
He said it would take an active legislation to change it. I did try to engage a couple senators, didn't really pick up traction either, and so it's kind of a project that I'll be thinking long term, coming back to, getting distance, and
Sure.
I have plenty of projects to keep me occupied.
Well, maybe we'll start in this conversation.
Sure.
Well, what's wrong with the Guam flag?
Yeah. So again, all of this is coming from a point of love here, right?
Yeah.
Like we are all, sons of Guam,
Right.
and we want to have a good spot in, especially the international stage. So, like, what when I've kind of geared or steered away from saying a good flag and a bad flag. I like to say if it's an effective flag or an ineffective flag, and is Guam an effective flag? To start off with, yes, I'd say it's very distinct. That's like one of the main things. Is it
Asterisk.
distinct? Yeah, it's very distinct, but could it be better? And that's the key, is could it be better? Yes, it can. And, going through the history of the Guam flag, we've got to realize that it's okay to change something for the better. That's the whole point. Every generation really should be able to look at the Guam flag and feel represented. Every generation should be able to say, yes, this looks good to me, even. Every generation kind of has that right to say, hey, could we do better? So I think that's just kind of where we are. Like, could we do better? Now that we have this knowledge of things like modern flag design, now that we have that knowledge, let's use it, right? There's we don't have to be upset that, hey, this is not the best flag in the world. Okay, so let's show that, hey, we can take criticism and let's make it better. I do like to kind of point out it's an uphill battle, because my joke is always too many people got it tattooed on their calf, right? And like that's kind of the truth. But there's simple things like you mentioned, right? The keep it simple. Is it simple? No, it's not. Does it have a few basic colors? No. Minimum, we have 8. Maximum, we have like 10, 12. Right? Does it have meaningful symbolism? Yes.
Right.
It does. It does. And so it's things like that. If we're going to miss on one part, we've got to hit on the others.
Well, symbolism, I look at the canoe, and this is the conversation that I've
Yes.
had with Farron. And at the least, we should correct the canoe. Right?
Absolutely. So, logically speaking, for hundreds, if not thousands of years, we were the fastest people on the planet on the water, right? And then we're not even the ones making the claim. So the European powers at the time who sailed the ocean and quote unquote discover all the Pacific islands with all of us already on them, right? They're the ones that said we like bounded from wave to wave like dolphins, and we would literally sail circles around the big ships that are coming around here. And so they're the ones saying that we were the fastest. And so just with how humans have spread across the world, if we were the fastest when they got here, it means we had to be the fastest for at least some hundreds of years prior to that, maybe even thousands of years. And so I think it's quite unfortunate that this incredible brag that we have, that we can say about our island and our history and our people and culture, that we got it actually incorrect on the flag. And so if I have a whole video just about this on my Instagram and my YouTube, but basically the sail is on the wrong side. If you try to sail a canoe in real life the way it is on the flag depicted, the sail will either just flop over into the ocean or just flop over onto you, like you would just get like smothered by the flag. And it's not a criticism to the artist either. Maybe we'll go down that way. I've spoken with descendants of Tunkiku Feha. And, it was an artistic representation, maybe made for aesthetic choices.
Sure.
And also to his credit, I think from the Spanish Chamorro Wars, I don't think we'd had a sailing canoe for like 150 years. And so I'm just ballparking it there. And so it was quite a long time. And so it's some lost knowledge. We still had paddling canoes, but I don't think we had a proper like sailing canoe that we made or we carved in all that time. And so there are some efforts to recapture that, rekindle that in the Marianas, both locally, up in Northern Marianas. You have 500 sails, doing some awesome things. And so if we could just get the sail on the right side of the mast, that would be great. If we could lean that mast forward a little bit, that'd be better too. And Kylan, Flag Bro, has some interesting thoughts about which direction we could make the canoe face and so on, with the way canoes work and the way the wind is supposed to travel through and over them.
Following that, I totally agree. Things like the proa, right? Is it considered a proa? Is this one the proa? Yeah. Because there's the proa, the sackman, and there's another.
Proa is kind of
it's a good
there's
catch-all.
There's like 5 Sazentasu would be kind of a catch-all for all of them, but the sackman would be the biggest class of all of them.
Well, this is why I give you so much credit, because you've done a lot of this research. Both of you have, right?
I've done some,
but far more than I've ever. And the way you explained it, it makes sense to at least change the direction of the canoe, right? And so, and for obvious reasons, like you had mentioned, it's a powerful symbolism of our people, right? And so, just that simple change can already set us apart.
Yeah, I mean, like, look at our siblings in Micronesia. Have you seen the flag of Yap yet? You ever notice that?
I love it.
Awesome flag.
No.
And they take a different perspective of a canoe, of a sailing canoe as well.
Yeah.
So here we're looking at a side-on view of the canoe. Theirs looks like a front-on view of the canoe. And you also have the sail, which can be positioned either closer to being parallel to the hull, let's say, to being almost perpendicular to the hull. With the yard in the front. Yeah. And so Yap's own flag looks like that, and it's an awesome design. I think that's a really cool design as well.
Wow.
Yeah. And so they got it's a little kind of soft lines and cartoony, but it's it's quite intentional, and you get that just by looking at it.
Yeah, Yap's flag to me is one of the most underrated flags in the world.
Agreed.
Because they have their proa. Right, again, and like their canoe with the sail, and once you know it, you're like, man, that's a good design.
Right.
And then they have the circle to represent the stone money, the rice stones. I think it's rice stones. Yeah. They have that, and then they have the star to represent that they are part of the FSM, which is, I mean, they have 3 symbols and they hit on each one.
Is that 2 colors?
Yeah.
Man,
two
that
colors.
is masterful.
Yeah, all in two colors. All in two colors, right? It's so simple, and that's the thing. Keep it simple. Yeah. Meaningful symbolism. Oh yeah. 2 to 3 basic colors. Yeah.
Right.
No lettering or seals, and be distinct or be related. Man, right? And here's the thing. Their canoe is similar to our canoe, and it should be, because we are related, right? We're all from Micronesia. We use similar styles of, of boats. We use it. So why not put that on the
Yeah,
on the
especially
flag?
this side, like
Yeah.
Yap and Chamorros and
Yeah.
Palauans. We're the Micronesians that chew puga. You know
Okay,
that, right?
yeah.
And so the other sides apparently don't. So like Pohnpei, they have sakao, right? Or
Yeah,
the kava plant.
that's
I think it's
right.
the same species. And so yeah, we have some relations there too.
So
like
we should
historical
switch
relations.
So we're gonna switch the coconut tree to a pugwa tree. And that's our next proposal.
That'd be interesting. That'd be interesting to talk about, though.
That would be
Because we can argue that a kid can draw this, because
Yeah.
I've seen many
Oh, yeah.
kids draw
Yeah.
this. Draw me the Guam flag, they'll do all of this.
Mm-hmm.
But what I've also noticed, and you pointed out, there are many iterations.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when you go into an office, supposedly an official office,
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know, a Gov Guam agency, they should have the official Guam
Yes.
flag, and there are many different iterations.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one that you can just buy, what I don't like about it is it's Maog, it's backwards.
Yes.
And so it should still say Guam on both sides.
Yes.
If we're going to keep using the word Guam on the flag.
And that's an issue, because if they are going to drape the flag, and people don't take a look at what's behind them a lot of times when they're taking pictures, right? You just assume everything is in the right spot.
Right.
But when you drape a flag, the back part of it is going to show. So things like it'll misspell it in a way. It's spelled backwards. So how do you solve that? Well, then you put Guam on both sides.
Right.
Well, now you've doubled the cost of the flag.
Right.
And we don't need to do that. We can just do things like
How does
remove the-
California do it?
California, so in flag circles, California is just known as, we don't know why it works, it just works. People
it
have
says
tried.
California, right?
Republic.
On the
which
on
is
the other
ridiculous.
side, it's still California, right? Though, so they're
no, it
It's
depends
backwards?
on, it depends on which way is flying, but like design wise, many flag designers have said,
We don't talk about
get it."
California.
Yeah, we don't talk. Like that, and that's the thing. That's like trying to use the exception as the rule in a
Sure.
way. And so it's very frustrating when you use words, because half of the audience, if they're looking from the other side, then now they're reading it backwards. And then what about an audience that can't read English or doesn't read English, right? What's the use then? Especially if it's an international flag like Guam is.
We have Olympic teams.
Yeah, and so I even have a picture of it on here where one of the flags that we're flying, and it's at the Olympics.
oh really?
It's at the Olympics. Yes, one of the flags there, right here. This one here.
Aye.
It's at the Olympics. It's backwards.
We're
and
from
there's
Maug.
nothing. Yeah, and there's nothing you can do about it, because
yeah.
if you're waving the flag as you should,
Right.
half the audience is going to read Maug, and the other half of the audience, they don't care,
Right.
because they don't read English. So what's the use? Like, if you're going to write what you symbolize, then your symbolism is unneeded. You might as well
Right.
just write a giant Guam on the flag and be done with it.
And then we have the formation in the back. There are 3 different iterations:
Yes.
white, brown, green.
Yeah, and that's why I always keep saying, go back to the original blueprint. If you go back to the blueprint, it says that the bluff in the back should be gray.
Should be gray.
It says like a gray blue
Right.
kind of thing. So now it's okay. What's the shape of that? And a lot of people mistakenly think it is to Lover's Point, but it's not, because if we go to where Francisco Feja, we have 2 spots where he could have done it, and 1 spot where we're like, yeah, no, he definitely did it here, because back in 1917 when the flag was first made,
right.
the Ganya River did not exit in front of Paseo.
So where the Guam Sill is located, or it's not there now because they're repairing it, but right across from Chief Kapua Park,
Yeah.
That's not where
No.
he.
That's not where, because the river was diverted there after World War II. I
Wow.
think, right? It was after
Yeah,
World
you
War
see
II.
See-
the river with the Serena statue there? I mean, the bridge?
Yeah.
Yes.
That used to be the river.
Yeah.
So it used to go parallel to shore and go west.
Yeah.
I
all
thought
the
they
way
down
put
the
it
loop.
there because that
Yeah,
is.
it used to go
Yeah.
all the way to basically where the governor's office is now, and that's where. So if you go there, where the governor's office is now, you'll see a giant Guam seal.
Yes.
That's where.
That's
Oh, that's
where-
and that sailor.
Yeah, where the
the
sailors.
lone
Yeah.
That's
sailor.
where.
Yeah.
And then if you just kind of look down the shoreline, you'll see where there is a river now that kind of empties out, and that's just
Okay.
kind of the leftover of it. So if you go there and you look, you'll see, you can see Two Lovers Point, but
It's not that far out.
the issue is you can barely see Two Lovers Point. Yeah, you can barely see it. And if you're referring to the original blueprint, you look
Right.
at the shape. Two Lovers Point is not shaped that way in the blueprint from 1917.
Right.
It's just not. There's no way it's that. And then you throw in, go with the color of it, which is supposed to be blue gray. What's the only blue gray? What's the only blue gray land formation that you can see there? And it's Latexan, right? That's the only place. It's Ritidian. It's because the only other place that you could say it is probably Oka, and when you kind of compare it to, again, the original blueprint, no, it can't be Oka, it can't be Two Lovers, it must be Ritidian, it must be Latexan. But here's the thing: if we're going to fix the Guam flag, right? I'm personally okay with making it Two Lovers. Because if we're talking about which things are the most culturally significant, people are going to connect with Two Lovers in a way more than the Texan. Now, if we're talking about historic wise,
Okay.
that's a big difference now.
Right.
Right. And if we're going with, well, which one's easier to draw? Well, then Ritidian. Right? That was a lot easier. It's straight and then it's straight. It's straight and then it's an angle.
Sure.
Yeah. So I mean, there's all of these questions that we need to ask, but we have to start with I don't know, the blueprint. Let's start there. My main thing is, can we standardize what is the Guam flag? And if we're going to prevent people from, if we're trying to protect the Guam brand on things like when they have the Guam seal, but we're letting flags that look nothing like the blueprint of the Guam flag get out
Right.
into the public. They're everywhere.
Right.
They're everywhere. They're the wrong color. They're the wrong shape. They're the wrong size. Everything. But we're letting we're letting those flags get away from us. We're not protecting the image of Guam enough, in my opinion.
How'd you feel of can't beat 'em, join 'em, just put out your own flag that you've done.
Yeah, and then
let's
start
just
selling that one.
Just get it out there, put it
Yeah.
up everywhere. And
Yeah. I've honestly thought about that, because it's like, hey,
Is
if
this
you're not
out there already? This modest proposal?
I
I
have.
Can I
I
share
have
it?
this one.
No,
Sort
but
of.
can I put this
Yeah,
out,
yeah,
or
yeah,
is
please.
this just? Or are you
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah,
protect
please.
it?
No, please. I mean, that one where it's simplified. It's different things that like, especially me and Farron talked about it.
Right.
Things like the proa should have 3 arms. Right. That's one of those keys. The proa should have 3 arms. I think we even said just remove the mask so that there's no confusion.
Yeah.
Right. Just remove it so that there's no confusion, and then it's a symbolic thing. Then that's all you need.
It's not it's not a drastic change. I like it.
And one of the things that he alluded to was I actually changed the direction of the proa itself.
Right.
Instead of it going to what we call the fly side to the right, I put it to the hoist side to the left, so that no matter where you're going with the Guam flag, the proa is always facing
Right.
forward. So that you can kind of call back to our explorer tradition, where we're always going outward, we're going forward, as opposed to we're coming home and everything, right? You want a brave symbolism in your flag as much as possible. Hey, we're gonna go out there, we're gonna search, we're gonna explore, we're moving forward. Yeah.
No, I appreciate this. Do you mind if
Reese is snapping in the producer room.
I love it.
do you mind if we take a break? And so, unless you have to go already.
No.
Yeah. All right. We'll take the break here on Wave 105. Reese is also going to take care of the Real Deal traffic report right here on the Talk of Guam.
All right, Hoffman, everybody. Yes, welcome on back to your Real Deal Traffic Report. Let's go ahead and get that started, and it's all being brought to you by our friends over at Guam Auto Spot. Don't forget to check them out today if you're trying to get into a new vehicle, if you're trying to see what they got in store and inventory, perfect. You can go ahead and visit them online at guamautospot.com today. We also want to thank our friends over there at Mobile Oil Guam. Energy lives here. Be sure you check them out. They have got their app out right now and you want to download it today. You totally should. You can start earning rewards with Mobile Oil Guam. Energy lives here. Let's go ahead and take a look at these roadways. For anyone... And where should we even start? Let's see. How about I'll start on the main road because that's where I'm seeing a lot of traffic right now. The Chikapua Loop is looking okay. Not too much there. I feel like you'll be in kind of pockets of traffic, but nothing that'll hold you back too long. It looks like for anyone who headed to Tamuning, though, plenty of traffic, and that's on all sides, whether you're headed north or southbound. And it starts at all the intersections, right? You have the intersection here, the ITC intersection. It's definitely busy. Here at the EPOW intersection in Tamuning, it's busy. And then even when you get towards the Airport Road intersection where the Mobile is, right? The two gas stations, you got the Mobile there. There's a lot of traffic coming out from Airport Road, a lot of traffic turning into Airport Road. And then if you're planning to just continue northbound, I think you'll be okay. That JFK intersection's not too bad. I want to say the buildup is mostly for those who are trying to get out of Tumon. So if you're getting out of Tumon, you can definitely expect some congestion. Otherwise, it's looking A-okay in other parts of Guam. There's some traffic here in Estumbo, but very small kind, nothing to worry about. Even if you're coming out from the... Even if you're coming out from the road, this is the Waisang Sung, Ayade. The Waisang Sung Road, if you're coming out of there, there might be some traffic, but honestly, you will be able to maneuver on through. It's really just a short one, okay? And that's it for right now, at least for your Real Deal Traffic Report. We'll have more in the 5 o'clock hour as we get closer to rush hour traffic. Otherwise, continue to keep it locked here. Once again, it's your Real Deal Traffic Report being brought to you by our friends at Mobile Oil Guam. Energy lives here. And our friends over there at Guam Auto Spot.
Pat's Tinting and Detailing offers premier services from complete interior cleaning and VIP detailing. And to keep you cool, Pat's also offers factory, ceramic, blacked out, and based approved auto tinting. For more information, call 647-SLAM.
One pill can kill. Fake pills often contain fentanyl. It only takes 2 milligrams of fentanyl, equivalent to a few grains of salt, to be lethal. Fake pills are often sold on social media platforms, making them available to anyone with a smartphone.
Talk early and often to youth about the dangers of misusing prescription drugs and the lethal dangers of counterfeit drugs laced with fentanyl.
Stay informed, stay safe. One pill can kill.
This public service announcement is brought to you by the radio stations of Glimpses Media Group, Wave 105 FM and Power 98.
Hafade Guausi Pali Suba. Don't forget to catch the Brightside every weekday afternoon from 2 to 6 on Wave 105. From big laughs to big issues, if it's happening on island, we're breaking it down with island leaders, business owners, and you. I want to send so much love to our sponsors, Micropack, Local Jerk, GTA, Sherwin-Williams Paint, Chili's, and Subway. Take a break from all of that shade and join the bright side on Wave 105.
Got what it takes to win? Tune in every Friday on Wave 105 FM with Patty Arroyo for the Hilton Trivia Challenge. Test your knowledge and you can score dinner for two at the Hilton Guam Resort and Spa. It's brought to you by the Hilton Guam Resort and Spa, only on Wave 105 FM.
We're going to take a look at your headlines, your national news here on the Bright Side. And of course, that's all being brought to you by our friends over at McDonald's Guam. Don't forget to check them out today. They are serving up that fall flavor. If you haven't already, you can get yourself the delicious pumpkin cream pie. You can also get yourself the delicious pumpkin spice latte that is available with the fall season. Again, a big shout outs to our friends over there at McDonald's Guam. I'm loving it. Here's your headlines.
CBS News Brief. President Trump defending sending National Guard troops into other cities after posting on social media, quote, Chicago's about to find out why it's called the Department of War.
We're not going to war. We're going to clean up our cities. We're going to clean them up so they don't kill 5 people every weekend. That's not war. That's common sense.
President says Israel's accepted a new peace proposal, and he's given a last warning to Hamas. Former Assistant Secretary of Defense Larry Korb.
If Hamas doesn't agree to it, I think then Trump will continue to provide support to Israel. In fact, may even increase it.
Legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum's following the case of Michael Pratt, the owner of an adult website who will be sentenced for sex trafficking on Monday.
He not only deluded young girls into thinking they were being paid to be clothed models, but they were also told that whatever skin they showed would never make it onto the internet.
CBS News Brief. I'm Stacey Lynn.
Balanced, fair, thoughtful. Wave 105 FM.
The views and opinions expressed in this show are that of the show host, guests, and callers. They do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the staff and management of Wave 105 FM, Glimpses Media, or any of our partners. As we strive to provide quality, respectful, and engaging content, we welcome you to participate in the conversation. Thank you for tuning in to Wave 105 FM, the sound of Guam. Enjoy the show.
All right, welcome back to Brightside. Once again, hanging out with our friends, the Guam guy and the flag bro. And so
Kylan.
It's just
hey, I'll take it.
Yeah, it just works.
It works. Especially
Yeah.
when we team up, you know,
Right.
like the Wonder Twins, activate.
So you were sharing that you know that the canoe is wrong just because if you look at the seal of the governor of Guam, they got the canoe correct. So this is the official seal of the governor of Guam, right? And it changes from time to time.
And it's beautiful.
I don't think you need
great seal.
legislative policy to change, but there you can see the canoe. And so why would the governor's seal portray our canoe like this if on the Guam seal, on the flag, it's different? See? So who got it wrong?
We all did.
We all do every day.
Yeah, and that is kind of like the point is, unless we bring it up, right? We've got to bring it up so that we can get it right, right? I mean, it's one of the hardest things is to make momentum for something that has no momentum. So it starts with like for me, when I was getting into flags, his video on the Guam seal inspired me. It really did. It inspired me. Like, there's another. Thank you. There is another.
That's how I felt when I met him. Like,
yeah. Like it's something like okay, it's not just me. It's not right. So that really inspired me to keep going with like flag redesigns. I did one for the Guam flag, and then I started getting into the village flags, and then I kind of revisited the Guam flag. Like, how can I take his ideas that he put for that and then put it into play?
How's your presentation going? Because that's just around the corner.
My main thing is I am also trying to memorize all the mayors and everything, but it's been a few days since I practiced.
Right.
But knowing that, but also it's kind of like this, like what the presentation is here.
Right.
The more that I practice it, that I talk to people about it, I'll have like a PowerPoint, very simple, but more also giving them things to look at.
Right.
Like, here's what you can do if you change your flag to something that's very adaptable by the people. Because in the end, that's the key. You want a flag that is adaptable by the people. And actually, the Guam flag is adaptable because there's so many symbols. But the whole point is it's a beautiful scenery of Guam, right? So people, like, when they put it on a shirt, they change it a little bit. They'll change the boat, or they'll change, they'll add something to it. They'll take something away. It's a different style, right? I saw one shirt, I love it, where it's like almost as if there's a typhoon in Guam. It's dark, it's rough waters and everything, but it's like a cool looking shirt, but it's a Guam seal. And there's something about that, like if someone doesn't know that's a Guam flag, but someone else sees it, they instantly know that it's a Guam flag. It's like a dog whistle,
Sure.
right?
Well-
Like we can find each other so easily because of the seal.
Yes.
And it's a good seal. It is a good seal.
If
So
you
that's the
take
problem.
everything out and you just have the sling stone,
Yeah.
I already
It's-
immediately
yeah.
Connect that to
Yeah,
Guam.
border with the sling stone immediately. And then even the sling stone, I'm like, okay, I don't see that symbol everywhere.
Right.
So if I see that in,
Right.
Wisconsin, if I see that in Janesville, Wisconsin, where my dad was from, like, okay, that's got to be someone from Guam.
You know what else is shaped like that, though, right? Roughly. A football.
Football.
So does nobody have like a football on their flags or anything?
Usually they're going to put it the other way. Actually, I think there was, going back to Wisconsin, the old...
Can you put these on?
Yep.
Pete wants to talk to you.
Okay.
Oh, Pete.
Is this our regular Pete? Yeah, regular Pete.
Repeat, yes.
Half a day.
Rinse and repeat. Hey, so I only caught a little bit of the conversation about the flag and the creative license that people have been taking. But you know who's the original one that really took creative license is our famous carver, Robert Titano. Whenever he carved a Guam seal, it was never the same. It was always unique. It was always different. So he's the original guy that gave us variety.
Yeah, and I would say to that, like, that's something that I encourage. If it's going to be something that you're selling, you're representing, especially for Guam, you want to add like your little kind of touch to it. I know because I've talked to his son about it, and he has like his own style of doing the Guam seal on his own things because he's like, I don't want to be necessarily my dad. He wants to do his own take on it, whether it's the number of the leaves on the on that, that's great, right? But at least that in a way technically still matches what is expected on the Guam flag. But things like changing, if it's the flag, I just think there's no room for creative license if it's gonna say it's the Guam flag.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever spoken with Pete before, but he was on my video that I put out about this. So it was another kindred spirit, and he was actually brought things up to me that I didn't realize. And there's
nice.
what was it Pete with something has a date palm, and you may have added some extra
that
words
was
onto
with
that.
the governor's seal.
Yeah.
The governor's seal was using a date palm, which is from the Middle East in the desert.
Nice.
So they went ahead and changed it to the current. Well, they
nice
changed it to a very raggedy-looking Guam coconut tree, rather, and then they changed it again to what it is right now, which has a scenery of Adelup, which is beautiful. I think it's amazing, but it's
So
definitely a better
this isn't
or
the
an
date palm, is
improvement
it?
From the date palm.
I don't know. Are you on YouTube? This isn't the date palm, is it? Because I was just showing them this governor's seal.
The date palm, the one from Governor Eddie Calvo's days.
Okay.
So they fixed it.
I got you. Here you go.
They fixed it. Yeah, they used some generic coconut tree from the internet, and then it was real raggedy. That tree was beat up, but then they changed it to what it is now, which is beautiful.
Yeah,
which is beautiful. Yeah,
yeah. I totally agree. Yeah, you nailed it. That's a good change, and that's something that I would love to see. Can we fix the flag so that it is actually accurate, or minimum, can we standardize it so that the flags that are out right now, there's a bunch of inaccurate flags. I don't know if we can show it.
I think I just want to. You're kind of slightly contradicting yourself, right?
Okay.
So I think, and I think I'm reading between the lines here. So if you're like an artist, and you're making like handmade things, and you want to like have some artistic license, that's one thing. But if you're printing something, it's got to be all standard. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like
and I just want to. I know we're up against time, but it was Rick Nalta's wife who pointed out to me what you guys were talking about the proa, about what it actually historically does look like, and that's what we see on the quarter.
Yeah, we were talking about that offline. The Feds got it right. I mean, the Feds got it right, and we don't. So yeah, it's at least for the sake of shame, we should. In that regard, we could maybe just make this a couple small changes.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me chime in.
Thanks, Pete.
Thanks, Pete.
Yeah.
Esta.
You wanted to make another statement?
Yeah, just regarding which flag is being used,
Okay.
right? Like the one that is so pervasive on Guam, but is inaccurate. It's the one that the people who know me are like, "Hey, look," and they point it out, and I'm like, ugh, right? No, I don't want to see that one. If I can show it, is that all right? Just hold it up.
There
here.
you go. Yep.
So if you see this, and let me. Oh man, I'm there. If you
Oh,
see
look
this,
at the borders. They're not even
the border
uniform.
the border is huge. That's
Yeah.
the dead giveaway. So that's the one that I know right away. Also, the other thing is, if you look, the proa is like red and yellow.
Oh yeah.
The proa is red and yellow, and then of course it also follows the same thing where the sail and the mast and everything. And just there's a red outline on the sand, and like
Yeah.
overall, I just don't like this design. But the kicker for me is in the back, right? It's just this brown turd in the back, and I just cannot get over this. I'm like, what piece of land is that supposed to be?
Right.
And that's the one that frustrates me the most, because the thing is, that flag is everywhere on Guam because
They
it
probably
is a
bought
cheap
it at
flag.
Alibaba.
Yeah, exactly. In a way, they can say it. They can almost say, "This is not a Guam flag. We're not selling it as a Guam
Right.
flag. Look, it doesn't even match any of the standards."
Right.
Right. And that's the frustration: is this flag is everywhere. And for me, if I want, Guam to be represented well,
Right.
the last thing I want is someone to be waving that flag. And many people have. They've taken it off island and they've displayed it when they win competitions and stuff. And I'm just like, that's not the Guam flag.
Right.
As much as, and again, I don't think they're doing it in some sort of malicious way.
Sure.
It's just ignorance. And so I want people to understand there's a better Guam flag.
Sure.
There's the correct Guam flag, and that one is very incorrect. And to me, that's the one where I don't get offended at a lot of stuff, but that's the one I'm like, oh man, it gets my goat kind of thing. Don't like, if I ever die and they put a Guam flag over me and they put that one over my casket, just burn the whole thing, burn the casket, burn everything.
You're in the
yeah.
ICU. I'm gonna bring you one of those. Get your blood pressure up.
It's working.
You're gonna just come back to health just out of spite.
He's reaching for it. I get it.
KGUM FM in Dededo, Guam. Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about that we might have missed on?
I mean, that's the main thing, unless you want to talk about more flex.
Yeah, I think we hit it all,
Yeah.
but just to kind of like bring it back to maybe where we started, and
Sure.
it's like, I love our flag. It's beautiful. It's
Yes.
a work of art. I like the history and everything in it.
Yeah.
We could just tweak it just a little bit to make it be a better flag as far as flags are supposed to go. A flag is a format. It's not whatever you want it to be. And so if we can make our flag into a better flag following like basic design principles and we show it to the world, people already get comments about it. Like, you go somewhere, it's like, oh, people look at our flag and they're like asking where we're from and what it's about and like this and that. And we're saying we could do a better job with it than it already does.
Yeah.
And so fixing the canoe, maybe tweaking the borders and colors and so
Right.
on would just make it do a better job at being a flag and make us love it even more.
You know who has a lot of pride in their state flag or city flag? Chicago.
Oh,
Right?
I love Chicago.
And so they have those stars. Even the Chicago Bulls have that star that's on their flag. CM Punk has the stars on his trunks, right? And so I think when you have, it makes sense to have pride in the flag, and you want to make sure that it gets right. It represents us to the rest of the world, especially like when they're all, I don't know, international trade centers or in Washington, D.C., when they have this flag circle and all of the U.S. states' flags are up, and then the territories have their own set. Like when you look at the flag, you're like, that's us right there. It represents all of us.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah.
In your modern flag design, real quick, says how to design a good flag. Why is Amsterdam the that is, I guess, the example of how to design a good flag?
Yes. So Amsterdam is one of the most iconic city flags in
Okay.
the world. It's one of those like if I ever have a friend that goes to Amsterdam, I want them to get me that
Yeah.
flag. What they did was they took the coat of arms of Amsterdam and they changed it to the I think it. That one is.
No, I'm about to show you this
the
one.
Detroit.
Yeah, but go ahead,
but
Amsterdam.
they took the Amsterdam coat of arms and they just rotated it 90 degrees. They kept it simple, right? And it's
Yeah.
already a symbol for
Yeah.
Amsterdam. And it's just a beautiful, tri-band. I think it's red, black, red, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Red, black, red. And with like 3 kind of bold X's in the middle to show, to kind of imitate their coat of arms. And when you go to Amsterdam, you will see it everywhere. It's a good way to show, hey, this is a government building, or this is an official building here, or hey, I just love Amsterdam. And that's a good way. I want people to buy Guam flags and for them to buy good ones. I want them where the seal is huge, it's bold and it's beautiful and it's correct. They're flying it around, or they just want to find a friend from Guam. You fly that thing around, easy to find. So yeah, I mean, Amsterdam, one of those keep it simple, right? Meaningful symbolism. They do a great job.
And in this modern flag design book that you gave me, it also says how to design a bad flag. And so this is the example it puts, and it's Detroit.
Detroit.
And so,
sorry, Lions fans.
To be honest with you, there's a lot going on here, but village flags here in Guam. That's why when you guys were talking about it. There's so much going on in our village flags.
Well, there's a lot going on in the villages, right? I mean, and that's,
but I don't think I can. I'm not a great drawer, but I wouldn't even try or dare drawing any of the village flags.
And when they put things like the seal, and they're doing what they should. They're trying to put in that meaningful symbolism. But the issue is they're not saying no enough. They need to distill it to a few symbols, like 3 symbols max, because those 3 symbols need to be represented. Now, if you can mix the symbols into multiple symbols in one object, then that's great. You can do that. But you've got to have like a story to tell, and it should be a simplified story through the flag. When you're able to do that, then that's great. But what happens right now with the current village flags is the seals are very complicated. They're good seals.
Yeah.
But they are adding all the imagery, and that's the issue. You've got to say no. Yeah. And like you said, I would never even attempt to do it.
Right.
Like, did you know in the Hagåtña one, there's the Rotopope, right? Like, it's so lost in all the imagery, but it is there, right? You want to know, but is that flag worthy? When you're talking about Hagåtña, do you have to mention the statue of Pope John Paul II? Like, no, you don't have to. It's not the most important part of Hagåtña's history. So it's being able to say no to important imagery. That's the hardest part. You have to be able to say no, and that's the brutal part.
Yeah.
But in order to say yes to a good flag, you got to say no to even good imagery.
The goal, I hope, is not for all the mayors to raise their hand like, yes, design my flag for us. I think to introduce you to them so that way when they come together as a village, as a people, when they have their municipal planning councils and they want to decide, they decide that it is time to redesign their flag, they know exactly who they can go to for assistance.
Yeah. And it's coming up in October when I go before them. If any of them are listening right now, I think what I would ask them is an effective flag will be flown throughout the village. Like there will be demand for it. So how many flags do we see?
Sure.
Like
I don't see much.
And
I hardly ever see a kid holding a mini flag of any village.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? It's not a bad flag. It's ineffective. That's the key. It's not like poorly designed. I think there is a flag trying to get out, right? There's a good flag trying to get out. There's imagery there that they have already. Let's trim it down. Let's use 3 things. Let's use 2 things. Let's keep it simple. Keep it as simple as possible. You want things that you can put on a basketball uniform. You want something that you can put on, like a koozie. You want it.
And
on
you've already done mock-ups of every village, right?
Not every.
No,
village.
not every.
Oh, okay. Because, and that's the thing. It's difficult for me because now I need to go to every village and spend time in there, research, talk to people. And my hope and dream would be, yes, every village would say yes at some point, and I would spend time and go through the process and say it's going to take time, but it should be worth it. Right. And the people should enjoy it.
Yeah, and you don't have any expectation like your flag has to be the village flags, right?
Yeah.
So this is just fun for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and if it can inspire people to like throw yours away and make their own, that might be even better.
Yeah,
then
I'll keep that flag and use it for something else. Right. And that's exactly right. I'm under no
delusions of grandeur.
Yeah, no delusions of grandeur that when they talk about flags in Guam, they're going to talk about Kiko Feha and Kylan Eckert, right? It's not that. It's like I just want to see it done right because I think the people in these villages deserve to have a way to show their village pride.
It'd be a cool benefit. I was in Two Lovers Point yesterday, and not on I guess both, because we rappelled into the cave that's underground there, and doing another cleanup, and maybe I'll talk about that another time. But there was somebody saying when you're on the coastal villages, it's kind of easy to know when there's two ways in or out, right? It's the one main street passing through the village. You know exactly when you enter Malesu, and you know exactly when you leave Malesu in both directions.
Right.
But interior, sometimes it's really hard, especially if there's so many ways in and out and side streets and so on. But if you have a really nicely designed flag and you feel that speaks to your village, people are going to be flying it on your houses.
Right.
And whether there's signage or not, you're going to see village flags outside people's houses. Okay, I'm very.
I already see Agania Heights because
Agania
Agania Heights has so much village pride.
Oh yeah.
And so if you give them a great design. Oh my goodness! I think Mayor Arroyo will just go nuts over this.
All right, here's the challenge. I don't know where Sinahanya starts and Agania Heights begins.
Yeah.
So
Right?
I am sorry. I'm being honest, but if you take some flags and you start flying it on the border houses, we're gonna know very quickly. Yeah, and then Sinahanya is gonna want to keep up with the Joneses.
Exactly. And it's
Governor Carl Gutierrez's house is the border.
It is a good point to mention that flags are a lot cheaper than building a concrete sign with metal. Right. It's a lot cheaper than
you don't need the DPW permit, and you don't take out somebody's internet.
It's a lot easier that way, right? Yes, you can put a simple sign that says "Welcome to Doña," right? Or you can just
that is a great idea. Instead of those toilet bowl signs, have you seen it? It's a half latte stone, but if you look at it, it's a toilet bowl.
Yeah,
because it's not a full latte.
Someone ruined that for
so
me.
it's a square, and then half the latte comes out. It looks like a toilet bowl.
Oh,
if they remove those and put flag poles in its place,
or put it right behind it, right? It could be, you could add it to it. Mangilao got away from it by painting theirs.
Okay.
They painted theirs from white. They painted the latte stone part.
Or where they have the I Heart MTM or whatever. You've seen it. It's right when you go into put a flagpole right there.
Yeah.
There you go.
And that's something, again, right? These are ways that the village pride that already is there can be
think
displayed.
a flagpole is cheaper than making those I Heart village signs. I think it is.
I mean, just
you can buy a flagpole,
right?
You have to fabricate those signs, and I like them. They're cool, but but they are cheaper.
and in the end, you could also just someone from the mayor's office with the flag can just wave it instead.
No,
just
but I think it's cool. Is
oh man, there's flags on the village mayor's trucks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that's something I think in things like the Liberation Day parade. When you're looking from such a far distance, hey, who's coming up next? Right? Usually you have to wait for them to get within reading distance. No, you can say, hey, where's Inarahan? Oh, okay, it's down there. Okay, I can take a quick bathroom break before it gets here.
There you go.
Right? Because you can identify
you see
the
them
flag
waving
from so
the
far
flags.
Away. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Yep.
Thanks for coming in. I really appreciate these conversations. And so anytime you got any updates, I imagine I'll probably ask you to come back in after. Well, it's public. The mayor's council meeting's public, so I'll be watching it in real time, and then we'll just get updates from you
If
after.
you get one mayor that's like, "Hey, hang back after,"
Yeah.
like that's a victory to me.
and even not. I've said my piece, and it's out in public. Right, we have this radio show twice. I was on Harvest, right, KHMG.
Nice.
There is a flag podcast. I was
Wow.
on that as well.
Oh, I still gotta watch that.
Yeah. There's
I gotta
that one.
put that on my list. Yeah.
And then his show as well. Right. It's out there now.
Right.
Right. So it's one of those. Once you know about it, you can't unknow about it.
Sure.
And that's great. That's what happened
But it's
to me.
not enough. It's not just out
Well,
there.
I think even
Persistence. This is why we have
organizations,
advertising, right?
even
Repeating,
people
yeah.
that businesses and organizations that are hearing this can reach out to you.
It's great for village, let's say basketball teams and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the kids aren't going to wear the flags, but like you can display it
Sure.
on a uniform. You can display it
Sure.
so that you don't have to write the whole village name, right? You can just put the team name. Like one of my favorites is Melissa, the Rebels. Right, that whole like mystique about rebels and like that's beautiful. So how do we design a flag that shows that, right? And I love that. I love things like that where there is a good village pride. Now, if there's like a newer village, and we're saying like newer as in post World War II. Like Talafofo is like a newer village.
Yeah,
it a lot of its history is shared with Inalahan. So how do you stoke more village pride from where there's not as much history as historic Inalahan?
Yeah,
there is, right? I mean, thank goodness we got we claim God's country, right? Like, hey, okay, so there's something to go off of, right? There's beautiful stuff all over. So there's stuff to do, right? There's things that you can use. So how do we take all of that, encompass it into this flag, distill it into one big image that you can use and printed everywhere? And really one of my big things is we need a good local flag maker. If I can put that out into the universe here, someone who can be that local flag maker, that is a big business opportunity.
Or if there is one, please call in or shout it out.
Yeah, I have ideas. Please,
Okay.
please.
Well, thanks again for coming out. I'm super excited for your meeting with the Mayor's Council. But again, I appreciate the both of your work and the research and just your commitment to the community as a whole. I appreciate it very much. And thanks for hanging out.
Thank you too. Appreciate you back.
All right, 5:15. We will take the break. We'll just do an extended one. If you can combine my bottom with the top, and we're good, right? Yes, there you go. And we'll be right back. Wave 105.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Stacey Lynn. The High Court has cleared the way for the Trump administration to resume its crackdown on illegal immigration in L.A. Here's CBS's Weisha Zhang.
The White House is responding to that Supreme Court ruling that lifts restrictions on roving ICE raids in Los Angeles, saying it reaffirms that, quote, lower activist judges are trying to impede the president from lawfully carrying out the American people's agenda.
House Democrats released a message allegedly written by President Trump to Jeffrey Epstein for his 50th birthday. Author Barry Levine on why this is being scrutinized.
We knew that Donald Trump was friends with Jeffrey Epstein back in 2003. That is well known. He might have written something for this birthday book. It doesn't allege any wrongdoing, but the story blew up because Donald Trump denied it to such a great degree.
He claimed it was fake and sued the Wall Street Journal. Climate reporter Tracy Wolf tells us last month was the third hottest August globally on record. And not only that,
the last 12 months, going back to September 2024, have continued to remain above average, measuring 1.52 degrees Celsius higher than the pre-industrial era of 1850 to 1900.
Many people have diabetes but don't know it. A new study from the Global Burden of Diseases, Injuries, and Risk Factors found nearly half of people over the age of 15 were undiagnosed in 2023. Researcher Lauren Stafford.
Every country is projected to see increasing diabetes prevalence between now and 2050. So we really aren't seeing at the population level improvements in preventing diabetes.
A 54-year-old New Hampshire man's the latest patient to receive an experimental pig kidney. He got his new organ in June and is doing well. CBS's Jared Hill with more.
Dr. Leonardo Riella and his team at Massachusetts General Hospital also announced another pig kidney recipient set a record, 7 months so far with his organ. This as the FDA approved that the company that provides the genetically edited pig kidneys, eGenesis, can begin a significant study of kidney xenotransplants.
A deadly protest in Nepal. At least 19 were killed while demonstrating against the government's social media ban. Correspondent Chanel Call.
Now, at first, police were there. They tried to fire tear gas. They used water cannons, but they were simply outnumbered by this massive crowd there. Eventually, they had to resort to using force. The commissioner's office says opening fire at some of those protesters.
And the government has lifted that social media ban after the violence. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-497-0593. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-497-0593. That's 800-497-0593. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
West Point recently canceled an event to honor actor Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks was set to receive West Point's highest civilian honor for someone who embodies the military academy's motto of duty, honor, country. But its alumni association canceled it, and President Trump responds on social media by saying, "We don't need destructive, woke recipients." Mark Montgomery is a retired Rear Admiral.
He really was a great advocate for the military, a great recruiter. This isn't a West Point issue. This is a Secretary of Defense issue, and this is about canceling an award for someone who earned it, deserved it.
Matt Piper, CBS News, New York.
Scientists at Tufts University think they may have a better version of Ozempic in the works. They say they've developed a new drug that still helps you lose weight but doesn't have as many of the yucky side effects that are associated with GLP-2 meds, like nausea, muscle loss, and weight regain. The medication is still in the preclinical stage and has not yet been tested in human trials. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
It just works. Wave 105 FM.
Got the sweets and the cravings. This is Soundbites, and I'm Alan Davidson. A little sugar, a little treat, that's fine for now and then. But it's so easy to let those sugar cravings spin out of control. And then it's an empty cookie bag with a bag full of regret. Time to turn to Last Cookie, created to help you break out of that sugar spiral. It's an app that tracks sugar cravings over hours, and it helps you prepare yourself for when they strike. Graphs, calendars, metrics, they all break it down, showing you where your triggers lie and how you can avoid them. And there's even a tool to tell you how much you save by cutting back on the sugar. Control your cravings. Leave that empty cookie bag behind. With Last Cookie for iPhone at the App Store now. With Soundbites, I'm Alan Davidson for CBS News.
Research in bio-inspired design has the potential to yield transformative solutions in infrastructure, manufacturing, food production, human health, and more. We'll explore how American scientists and engineers are looking to nature as they tackle complex challenges in the U.S. National Science Foundation's Discovery Files.
The use of bio-inspired architectures is very important because nature has plenty of ideas on how to actually solve engineering problems. We use the same principles that we are learning from nature. And just what we know so far, we are going to learn more as we proceed.
Pablo Zavatieri is a professor of civil engineering at Purdue University. and part of a collaboration working to understand how a mosquito's specialized antenna allow them to isolate specific sounds over the noise of their own wings, which could have a variety of translational applications in sensors and sound treatments. Here's a sample of the sound of the wing beats of a female frog-biting mosquito, Corythrella appendiculata.
Mosquitoes have a really great structural component in the antennas that actually can help us understand how to better design sensors and structures for vibration and vibration control or vibration detection. So I think there are a lot of clues in nature that we can actually use from just doing these studies.
Learn more about this study in NSF's Discovery Files podcast, Translational Research.
Huff it, everybody. Here we go. We're about to get started with the show, but before we take a look at the bright side, we got to see what's happening out there on those streets. So let's go ahead and have at it. Welcome, everybody, to Rush Hour Traffic. If you're in traffic, you already know the business. This is how it be. This is how it goes. But I'll let you know where you can look out for, and maybe you can kind of avoid that, right? Okay. Big shout outs to our friends at Guam Auto Spa. Don't forget to check them out. They have got their website for you, and if you're trying to get a new vehicle, perfect. You can see what they got in their inventory, and then you can schedule your test drive to see if you love it. And you probably will, and you'll be driving on out of there. Big shout out to our friends at Guam Auto Spa. You can also, we also want to give a big thank you to our friends at Mobile Oil Guam. Energy lives here. Now be sure you download that app today so you can start receiving rewards. Big shout outs to our friends at Mobile Oil Guam. Energy lives here. Here we go, friends. Traffic is definitely built up in the Tamuning area. Earlier, I was saying it was pretty easy breezy. Now it's definitely built on up. There's a lot of congestion on both sides. I don't even know where to start, to be quite honest. I guess we could start here at the ITC intersection, since that's a very popular one. A lot of people are already there. There's already congestion for those who are headed northbound, as well as the opposite side if you're headed southbound, headed to the ITC intersection. So just be aware of that, and man, that southbound line is pretty long. The line continues into the next intersection, which is the EPAL Road intersection, right? Yes, the EPAL Road intersection. It continues into that and goes a little bit past. So if you're headed southbound, headed that way, there's a lot of traffic. For those who are headed northbound, you can expect the same thing. I'm sorry, you thought you were lucky. Unfortunately, no one is sweaty out here in the roadways. It is very busy and congested if you're headed towards that same intersection, right? Whether it's the EPAL Road intersection or even here where the Airport Road is, that same intersection, very, very busy. And the line goes all the way down, very close to the ITC. So please expect that traffic there. And then let's go ahead and take a look, as well as Airport Road. If you're trying to get into Airport Road, expect the congestion. That line really takes a while, and if you're trying to turn in there, you might have to wait a little bit until the light in Airport Road turns green. Otherwise, traffic elsewhere at the JFK intersection, definitely busy, but it's more so for those who are headed up the hill from Tumon into Tamuning. So you can expect that traffic, and then even here leading up to the mall intersection, there's traffic there, and it's a lot of congestion. It starts at the mall and goes all the way down. It even passes that road where you would enter into like the apartment complex. There's like a cafe there. There's a lot going on, so please just drive safely through Route 1 North Marine Corps Drive. And then here in Dedido, SB, Santa Barbara area is looking good. Not too much traffic there. None coming out of the Waiseng Sung Road. Just a little bit, if you want me to be really honest, but it's nothing like what Tamuning is looking like. And then here in Route 8, Purple Heart Memorial Highway, you definitely got your traffic there as well for those who are headed towards the Barragata Tri-intersection. And that's it for your Real Deal Traffic report for at least right now here on the show. But of course, we want to thank our friends over there at Mobile Oil Guam. Energy lives here, and a big thank you going out to our friends over there at Guam Auto Spa. Continue to keep it locked. The bright side continues on the other side.
Suba. Don't forget to catch the bright side every weekday afternoon from 2 to 6 on Wave 105. From big laughs to big issues, if it's happening on island, we're breaking it down with island leaders, business owners, and you. I want to send so much love to our sponsors, Micropack, Local Jerk, GTA, Sherwin-Williams Paint, Chili's, and Subway. Take a break from all of that shade and join the bright side on Wave 105.
It's back. BK's Cheesy Breakfast Melts.
Our cheesy breakfast melts feature your choice of sausage, bacon, or ham, layered with fluffy folded eggs, 2 slices of American cheese on toasted round bread. Make it a meal with hash brown and a brewed coffee or orange juice. Get your hands on the new cheesy breakfast melts, now available during breakfast hours, 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. daily for a limited time only. BK Tumon Bay, Hagåtña, and the airport. You rule.
At Wave 105 FM, we're more than just a station. We're your platform, your voice, your conversation. We're talking about what matters most to you today and in our future. And we want you to be part of it. Got something to say? We're listening. Different opinions? Bring them on. Let's talk, let's debate, let's connect, because every voice counts. Call or WhatsApp us at 671-922-1051. And if that line's busy, hit us up at 922-1052. This is Talk Radio for everyone. This is Wave 105 FM, the talk of Guam.
Craving bold flavors and unbeatable value? Introducing Chili's Double Down Feast. Choose from chef-crafted protein pairings like zesty margarita chicken with ancho salmon, or go premium with the classic sirloin and half rack of ribs. All served with loaded mashed potatoes, starting at just $24.99. It's a feast made to satisfy. With more pairings to try, one visit won't be enough. Only at Chili's. More life and great value happen here.
Get double the speed at zero extra cost with GTA Fiber. Experience super fast and reliable fiber internet speeds, now starting at 200 Mbps to 1 gig, with upload speeds just as fast as download speeds and 100 times faster than cable internet. You can enjoy lag-free gaming and clear video calls. Fast is also affordable. Sign up for Fiber 200 for only $70 a month. Visit gta.net or call 644-4482. Terms and conditions apply.
The new and improved Chili's 3 for Me deal is here. Starting at $12.99, get a drink, an appetizer, and an entree. You heard right. You can get a Coke, chips and salsa, and an old timer with cheese for only $12.99. Only at Chili's. Great food and value happen here.
The views and opinions expressed in this show are that of the show hosts, guests, and callers. They do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the staff and management of Wave 105 FM, Glimpses Media, or any of our partners. As we strive to provide quality, respectful, and engaging content, we welcome you to participate in the conversation. Thank you for tuning in to Wave 105 FM, the sound of Guam. Enjoy the show. Half a day, everybody. We are about to begin the show here on Wave 105.1 FM, and it's all being brought to you by the Brightside, being brought to you by our friends at Chili's. At Chili's, more life, great food, and great value happen here. We also want to thank our friends over there at the Code School of Guam. Learn, code, and lead at the island's first coding boot camp. Your future in tech begins with us at Code School of Guam. We also want to thank our friends over at Micropack. Get the latest in technology today, whether it's speakers, a desktop, a computer, a laptop, all of the above, it can be yours. Check them out. Our friends at Micropack, they're located in Tamuning off of Chell in San Antonio, as well as in the Micro Mall. They have 2 locations to serve you there. We want to thank our friends at Subway. You got to refresh to be fresh. Visit their website today, subwaypacific.com. Place your order and pick it up at your convenience, or get it delivered to you. It's powered by Good to Go. We deliver. Thank you to our friends over at Sentinel Security Solutions, Guam's premier provider of professional security services. They're delivering operational excellence in protective services across commercial, industrial, and residential sectors. We also want to thank our friends over there at Wise Owl Animal Hospital, bringing you the bright side as well. They're your other family doctor. And a big shout out to our friends at Sherwin-Williams Paint. The wet season is here and your roof needs to be ready. Well, don't wait any longer for that blazing sun or pounding rain. Get ahead of the weather and be weather ready with their coatings. Be smart, be prepared, and ask Sherwin-Williams. Once again, thanks so much for coming back to the bright side. Let's go ahead and get the show started.
I ran into this girl the night before.
All right, welcome back. We're online, thewave105.com, the bright side. And if you still have a laptop open, you can check us out on YouTube, Wave 105.1 FM Guam. Otherwise, we're going to the phone lines. Attorney Pete is back. Half a day.
Half a day, senor.
Half a day, my friend. How's everything? How's work? How's life?
Life is good. Work is gooder.
There you go.
You know, they say if you find something you love doing, you don't have to work a day in your life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still looking. How does the YouTube song go? I still haven't found what I've been looking for.
There you go. Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I do appreciate being home, being on this island, living amongst our community, our culture, and there's no place I'd rather be. When I was living in the States, I told my wife, it's time to go home. And at the time, we didn't know exactly, what our prospects were. And I said, doesn't matter. I could sell doni on the side of the road as long as, we're home.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm calling on a serious note about, we saw that case. I know you read it, that case about this so-called deportation under Doug Moylan.
Edward Sicat?
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 Yeah.
Okay.
So first and foremost, and I've told the judges these things because they've offered some of my clients the same thing.
Okay.
And I said, no, that's a lie. It's not It's not deportation at all. It's not, because it has nothing to do with the federal government. And let me try to peel this back for the listening audience to explain what's really going on. And this is a scheme that was 100% cooked up by Doug without any of the cooperation of the federal government or the governor's office, which are the two offices that are responsible for actual real deportation. And there's real ramifications, and it's important for the public to know what these are. First of all, when they offered it to my clients, I said, we can't consciously, in good conscience, do what they're asking us to do, which is to, instead of serving a sentence of incarceration, to voluntarily get on a plane and leave the island and promise to never come back without any further punishment.
Well, isn't the punishment if they get back on, they'll issue a bench?
I'm gonna explain that. I'm gonna explain that.
Thanks.
We tried that. They tried to do that in the first iteration. Guess what they did? They took a guy from DOC, dropped him up at the airport, and left. And what did the guy do? He called his cousins to come pick him up. Right. That was the first failure of Doug's so-called deportation. But here's the problem, Paulie. When they send these people away, because it's not deportation. Don't call it deportation. Okay. That's not what it is. When they send these people away, they make them promise never to come back to Guam. When they get to the other side, to whatever country they're at, they are scot-free. There is no punishment. There's no supervision. There's nothing.
Right.
And oh, by the way, Guam can't prevent them from going to California. Guam can't prevent them from going to Florida. Guam can't prevent them from coming into the United States. So it's again another lie by Doug, saying, "Oh, we're punishing these people, or we're taking care of it. We're getting rid of the problem." No, they're not. They can go to California. So in this case,
but won't the bench warrant? The judge says a bench warrant is going to be issued immediately. So won't they be flagged when they're going through customs? Like, you have a bench warrant for your arrest.
You'd be surprised how many people make it through. And I've had clients that have gone through back and forth to the States, and we have an active bench warrant on them. It's luck of the draw, Paulie. Right? It's luck of the draw whether they catch it or not. So what I'm saying is I know people that have gone to the States with Guam bench warrants and have lived their best life out there for 20, 30 years, without so much as any kind of issues. They get jobs. They get, this is the reality. I wanted to put it out there what the reality is versus the Moylan myth.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's all I wanted to put out there. That this is just it's very ill conceived, and this is not what justice looks like.
So what does a real deportation look? Does it look like an escort on the plane and handing over
real deportation, to the? That's an exercise of the federal power.
Okay.
Right. The states or territories don't have power to deport.
Okay.
And even the governor of Guam doesn't have a power to deport anyone. So for Doug to say he's deporting people, that's just that's sophistry. Sure. You know what sophistry is? That's using fancy words to lie and deceive people.
Okay, got it.
But he's very cunning. He's very cunning at using sophistry to lie to the people, right? And bottom line is, we've spent tens of millions more dollars under his administration, and we've gone so far backwards. We don't even have enough prosecutors to cover court right now, Paulie. And we're having dismissals and acquittals galore, and then this is what he calls justice, sending people away without punishment. And then, oh, by the way, he likes to tout, these little misdemeanor wins when, for the last 15 or so drug distribution cases he's lost. But you never hear about that. You never hear about that out of the cuckoo's nest.
Just put out a release. You can put out an official release. And so the papers will the media will grab it, right?
Yeah, he puts out releases and he spins the facts. He conveniently hides the serious charges that were acquitted, and then he'll say, "Oh, look, we won on this petty misdemeanor."
But your office could do
we're
that
the toughest
right?
crime fighters.
Your office could do the same exact thing, right? Put out the release.
Yeah, but we're not in the business of lying to people, Paulie.
Got it.
We're not in the business of lying to people. Okay, I'm in the business of telling the truth. That's why I call so often. And to some people, they say, it's annoying. I was like, well, the truth has to get out there somehow. Would you rather live in a false narrative dictated by Doug Moylan, or would you rather have people like me and others pushing back and telling the truth?
Well, I appreciate you always being available too. It can be difficult to get some people on the air, and it's not for you, and so I appreciate that. 1,000%.
I have a face for radio, Paulie.
I appreciate it. Anytime I reach out to you, you respond, and that's something that I respect out of you 100%. So, but your philosophy on this, because I just heard you say that people are getting away with the crimes that they commit by doing this process. So we don't have to call it deportation, but this process, if you were the Attorney General, you would not do this at all.
Oh no, it's disparate. It's unfair treatment. Okay. Because if a Chamorro or a Filipino born on Guam who's a U.S. citizen, they don't get this luxury.
Right.
Right. So why should other people be allowed to commit absolute heinous crimes, and then?
Well, what is the reason? It's so that we don't pay the bill. That's his statement, right? So we, the taxpayer here, does not pay the bill while they are in DOC. And so,
what is the price of justice? What are you going to tell the victims? Hey, sorry, we're not going to punish the guy that killed your daughter because you know what? It's a little bit expensive to feed him for the next 20 years.
Right, fair enough, and that's where I'm going with this. Right, is I'm concerned about the individuals. Now he's convicted of a crime for assaulting 3 minors?
3 minor boys, yeah.
Yes. And so what do they think about him being able to leave and just being told don't come back?
From what I saw, the families, the victims, they're just like they're resigned already. They're exhausted. They just have no hope of justice out of this attorney general. So they're just like, just do whatever you need to do, man. They have strong feelings. They said they'll never forgive this kind of crime. Yet they're going to let someone go away and live in without consequence, and can and will enter the U.S. again through alternate routes. Trust me, if there's people that can infiltrate the country, by the tens of thousands a day, then what makes you think, it's going to be difficult for one of these guys to make it into the States? And I've seen and heard actual folks, that have gone back and forth between Guam and the States with Guam bench warrants, and then finally somebody, figures it out or picks up on it, and then they're like, why are you arresting me now? I've been back and forth 3 or 4 times already.
Right.
The system is not perfect. The system has a lot of holes in it. So it's to say, oh, you got to leave and you never come back. Just watch.
I'm trying to look at I think I saw 100 years. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And so when you look at, what are my options? It almost, of course, somebody will. Well, I won't say of course, but it's highly likely that they'll choose. So yeah,
How difficult is it, Paulie, to change your name and then get a new passport? Right. So there are ways where there's a will, there's a way, Paulie.
Yeah. No, I agree. How much is a passport nowadays? A fake one?
Well, I couldn't tell you. Yeah. I couldn't tell you. But I know a guy if you want. No, I'm just kidding.
Attorney Pete, thanks for the call. Is there anything else?
No,
Okay.
it was a beautiful day today. Not much rain, sprinkle here and there. But my goodness, I'm going to need to hire a yard man because I'm getting old.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If you know anyone, if you know any good landscaper, let me know.
I know landscaper. I don't know if they're going to be up to your if they can do what you are looking for. I don't know. I don't want to put that kind of pressure on myself. That's like the worst. Like I know a guy, and then when they show up, and then you get a phone call, I'm like, you sent me somebody that's terrible. Now I have to go and do it myself.
My friend,
right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
I don't want to put that pressure on myself. So hopefully
there's so many other things going on right now with the budget, with the hospital,
Right.
it's just a very interesting time to be alive. But you know what? I've said that for the last 40 years.
Yeah,
so there's
we're
always
tracking
something.
tomorrow.
There's always something going on.
Right. And we're tracking that tomorrow. So
Yeah.
Whether I'm on the show in the morning or I'm on the show in the afternoon, we'll be covering that for sure. Thanks, Attorney. I appreciate it, Attorney Pete.
Me too.
Adios. 5:44 in the afternoon. Summer EBTs. The release came out. Yeah. The shmoney.
Shmoney.
We're getting some of that shmoney.
That's what I'm talking about. Get that bag.
How much? So if you're eligible for the summer EBT program, I still have a 17-year-old, so it looks like he is going to be making $177.
Sheesh.
So if you already have your card, your summer EBT card, you don't. Hopefully you didn't lose it.
Yeah.
And they're going to load it. So if you have to get a replacement card, they're doing a distribution for new and replacement cards at the Micronesia Mall. Beginning September 12th. So what is that? That's Friday, right?
Yes.
Yes, Friday, from 3 to 7 p.m. And then on weekend, Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 7, and then from September 13th to the 14th, Saturday and Sunday, and then the last weekend, which is again Saturday and Sunday, the September 20 and 21st. All of these are going to be at the Micronesia Mall. So from now, from Friday, September 12th, all the way to the 21st, right? And so if it's a Monday through Friday, then you would go to the Micronesia Mall between the hours of 3 and 7. If it's a weekend, Saturday or Sunday, between the 13th to the 21st, then you would go to the Micronesia Mall from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And just like last time, you'll see the signs to where to go. This is going to be on Concourse 1, Unit 105, next to Windchills. So it's not going to be upstairs this time around. There again, Concourse 1, Unit 105, next to Windchills. And now I'm a little confused. I forgot there was a Windchills at the Micronesia Mall. So Concourse 1, Unit 105. It should be in one of those like wings. I'm trying to remember where is Winchell's at the Micronesia Mall. But I'm sure you're going to see the signs when you go to the mall of how you're going to be directed to where you need to get your new or replaced card for the summer EBT. So who is eligible? Children who are enrolled and attended a NSLP, which I think is that's SNAP. It's one of these federal organizations that help you with your free lunch, right? And breakfast. And so any point between July 1st to August 6th, and then also school-age children 5 to 18 who are not enrolled in these schools, which, if I remember, it's all of the public schools, and there might be 1 or 2 charter schools. You have to check your charter school, but practically every GDOE school is part of this program. It's provided through the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food and Nutrition Service, right? I don't think they've added any more of the schools. So if you remember getting it last summer, chances are you're getting it again this summer. But maybe you're not enrolled, but you are part of the SNAP program or the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families program. Then you qualify too. And so if you are a school-aged child from the ages of 5 to 18, not enrolled in one of these schools, however, still getting benefits for SNAP or TANF between the month of July 1st, 2024 to August 6, 2025, then you are eligible. And so those with existing cards, benefits will automatically be loaded this Friday, September 12th. So I'm pretty sure we still have my son's card. So it's going to get loaded Friday, September 12th. Eligible children with existing cards, but whose benefits did not load, then you would go to the Micronesia Mall and you would bring your card and say, hey, we tried it and I was embarrassed and how dare I went and I used it.
They're like, no, I swear there's money in there.
Right. So you would go to the distribution site. I think there's even a number in the back, if I remember, so you don't get embarrassed and you can call it and check. And you also need your code too. SNAP and TANF children with EBT cards who qualified for the under 6 years old group from the previous PEBT, you will need to get a new card if they are eligible for the summer EBT 2025. So each household should know that each eligible student will receive a one-time benefit of $177. So that's how much is going to get loaded. Every little bit counts. I'm not complaining.
Yes.
Right? Because I'm looking at 177 like I think there was more last time, but again, I'm not complaining. Every little bit counts. And my boy, he's a big boy, so he'll probably eat all of that to himself in just a couple days. And then also the expiration date of your summer EBT 2025 benefit, you should know that it expires on January 12th, 2026. And so if it loads on Friday and your EBT benefit expires on January 12th, then that's how long you have to spend the $177. For duplicate benefits, a child may not receive summer EBT benefits from more than one state or more than $177 in benefits from Guam. And so I've had this conversation with the director before where maybe you're receiving that in another state, right? And you come here, but you come here with your card. You can actually use the card in the States and vice versa. They can use the card here if they're a student that is part of the program. they get this summer EBT card in Idaho, and then they're coming here between September and January 12th of 2026, that card's going to work here. And if you were to go to Idaho, you can use your card in Idaho too. So a household recently moved to Guam from another state should apply for benefits from where their child completed the school year immediately preceding the summer operational period. And that's what we just talked about, right? So if you know somebody that's coming here between September 12th and January 12th, ask them if they're part of this program within their school and say, hey, if you're coming out to live with me, bring that card with you, because that's $177 that you can use here. And if you get here without it, you can't go through this process here in Guam to get it. What else do we have here? Duplicate card reporting. Parents or legal guardian is responsible for notifying public health if the household receives duplicate benefits. And if so, you are instructed to destroy the card. In addition, public health will also cancel the benefit. You will need valid identification when you go to pick up your card. A parent or legal guardian must bring a valid picture ID, such as a driver's license, Guam ID, military ID, or passport. Electronic or digital copies of IDs are acceptable. So what does that mean? Basically, if I have my phone and I say, here's my ID, you can do that because they're saying electronic copies of IDs are acceptable. Written authorizations are not allowed. If you are a parent or guardian and are off island, a Zoom meeting will be scheduled. The power of attorney and any court document will be verified against GDOE records to release the card to the designated individual who's authorized to pick up the card. And then troubleshooting. In the event of the parent or guardian's name is not listed for whatever reason, that's happened before in my experience, the parent or legal guardian will be assisted by the troubleshooting team who will work with GDOE in resolving the issue. And it was resolved in 15 minutes. So they had the troubleshooting team right there. And then CPS custody. No card will be issued to parents, guardians of children under the legal custody or under the Child Protective Services. SNAP will directly coordinate with CPS. And then change of custody. If the children are no longer living with the household, the parent or guardian needs to surrender the cards. If it is determined that they have the card and used it when they know they do not have custody of the children or live with them, the parent or the guardian will be referred for investigation. All right. If a card has already been issued during the distribution period to a parent or guardian and a second parent or guardian attempts to obtain a second card, the card will not be reissued. The issue will need to be resolved within the original parent or guardian before any further action is taken. To be honest with you, my son knows all of this too, because he's like, this is my money. This is during summer when I was not in school. So, but then for me, I say, well, who fed you when you weren't in school? I fed you, so I'm just reimbursing myself.
Just collecting your son.
No, so I just say, can I have some of your chips? And he goes, okay, Daddy, go ahead. You can have some of my chips. He goes, hey, who drank my milk?
He's like, don't worry, Dad, I can replace it. I got money.
Who drank? He drinks oat milk.
Wow, really?
Yeah. He turned me on to oat milk.
He doesn't have any
no, he's not lactose intolerant.
He just likes oat
milk.
He
likes
oat
milk. It is good.
It's so good.
And it's I don't know if it's cheaper, but it's healthier. It's healthier for me.
It is. I mean, I remember back then, right? It used to be the silk soy milk that I don't know, for some reason all my friends were into. It's like you're just bougie like that.
I don't like the silk.
I don't like the way it tastes.
The almond milk.
Almond milk in general is very. It's not my favorite.
The oat milk is good.
So good. It's like even I don't want to say it's sweet, but sometimes I feel like it's just naturally kind of sweet.
It tastes better than regular milk.
It so does.
Yeah. So. And then what else do we have? You are affirming that when you receive the summer EBT benefit, there are no circumstances under which your household can use two separate benefits issued to the same child. So for further information, you can call the Bureau of Economic Security at 671-382-5555. 300-8853. 300-8853. So again, all of this came out around 5 in the afternoon, thanks to the public health public information officer, a good friend of ours, Julia Rivera, who put it out, distributed it to all the media. So it's not like we were super special. She sent it out to everybody, but I like to acknowledge her because she's doing really good work over at Public Health.
She is.
I really appreciate her. You know what's really cool? A lot of our colleagues are like just everywhere.
Kind of doing the big things, huh?
Janella's over at GDOL.
Correct.
Damon Michael's over at GDOE.
Yes.
Julia's at Public Health along with
Yes.
Dawn Soulette. They probably have lunch together.
They probably
They're
do.
like lunch buddies, Dawn and Julia.
Yeah. And then, Isaiah.
Isaiah Huggin is doing some really good stuff.
doing a lot of
with
things.
Senator Bree, and then also Guam Philharmonic. One time I saw him during session when they were doing the vote.
Yeah.
He was introducing the bills as they were voting.
That's
I was
our
like,
guy.
there you go.
That's our guy.
Yeah, so proud of all of them. And here we are still stuck in radio, Reese. What the heck?
What are we gonna do, Polly? What is your big thing gonna be, huh?
No, I like being here.
Me too.
I'm right. I'm exactly where I want to be.
Period.
All right, time to get out of here.
Let's go.
Because I want to be here, but not past 6.
He's trying to go get those chips from his son, y'all. Okay.
So, Mornings with Patty, rolling with dice. We'll see. The show will happen for sure. And then it is Wednesday. So, Wednesday, Vet Talk. Uncle Johnny, Auntie Bobby is Admiral,
Yes.
Charlie Hermosa.
10 to 12.
Yes, that's always a fun show. So that's happening. And then you've got national programming. And then Brightside will be back. And then Oden Fino tomorrow with Senor Ron Laguatnia from 4 to 6 as well. So we got a stacked Wednesday, as always, here on the Talk of Guam, Wave 105. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. I want to thank Dave again. I want to thank Kylan, the flag bro, and Farron, the Guam guy, for hanging out with us too. I really appreciate the work that they do in the community, and it's just such an honor, and I really appreciate the conversations that we have here with people like them, right?
I love the passion,
Yes.
and I love the research.
Right?
Both of them are so good at that.
I was hoping
Every
somebody was
time.
going to come for them.
Right?
I was low key. I was hoping somebody was
He's like,
going to
"Put
call
that
in
discourse."
and come for them because I knew
They're
that
ready.
they were ready.
Yes.
They were ready. And so we'll be ready again tomorrow. Everybody be safe. Be
Yes.
kind to each other, especially out on those roads. Adios.
KGUM FM. Daddy No. The Talk of Guam is Wave 105 FM.
When you owe more than your vehicle is worth. This is Jeff Gilbert with the Car Chronicles. Edmunds.com Director of Insights Ivan Drury says about a quarter of loans are, as they say, underwater. Part of it is because people were paying full freight for vehicles during the chip shortage.
A lot of these loans are centered around 2, 3, 4-year-old vehicles. What happened then? Higher MSRPs, people fighting over cars.
Then there are high interest rates, meaning little principal is paid off in the first few years of a loan.
You couple that together with the heavy prevalence of 6 and 7 year loans. That's actually the majority of loans out there today are 6 and 7s.
Drury says this is leading to a lot of people keeping their vehicles longer, or in some cases doing some very difficult math when they buy something new. They might actually have to purchase something more expensive so they can fold all of that debt into a new loan. With the Car Chronicles, I'm Jeff Gilbert, CBS News.
Retirees may be able to spend more than they think. I'm Mark Hamrick with a Bankrate.com Personal Finance Minute. For more than 30 years, the so-called 4% rule has shaped retirement planning. It's the idea that retirees can safely withdraw 4% of their savings each year, adjusted for inflation, without running out of money over 3 decades. But William Bengen, the financial planner who introduced the rule in 1994, says it was never meant to be carved in stone. In his new book, A Richer Retirement, he updates the math and concludes that many retirees can safely spend closer to 5.25% to 5.5% a year. That shift really matters. Bengen argues that retirees who stick too rigidly to 4% risk underspending, leaving behind a big pile of money and regrets about what they didn't enjoy while they could. The takeaway, the 4% rule is a starting point, not the finish line. A smart retirement plan adapts to markets, inflation, and your own spending needs. For more, check out Bankrate.com. I'm Mark Hamrick. Have wages caught up with prices? I'm Mark Hamrick with a Bankrate.com Personal Finance Minute. Even after years of strong pay increases, wages still haven't fully caught up with inflation. According to Bankrate's 2025 Wage to Inflation Index, prices have risen 22.7% since early 2021. Wages are up 21.5%, so that leaves a shortfall of 1.2 percentage points. This is progress compared to the worst of it. The gap peaked at nearly 5 points in 2022. Households are paying more than they're earning back still. Americans are noticing. Bankrate's Consumer Sentiment Survey finds more than half say the economy is on the wrong track, and one likely reason is their pay still hasn't fully recovered from the post-pandemic surge in prices. Is there good news? Perhaps. In industries like retail, healthcare, and hospitality, wages have outpaced inflation, but in areas including education, construction, and manufacturing,